Winning Blueprint presents.
5 minutes or less. Miami Dolphins.
Welcome to 5 minutes or less. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. I want to talk about what this show will entail before I actually get to the 5 minutes or less segment. And I'll be brief. Again, this video will not be a very lengthy video at all. This will just be a video that goes over the 2012 season in a quick capsule, in a quick nutshell. And this is the last time I'll talk about the 2012 season at all, because we're at the point now where we're starting to move away from 2012 and into 2013. We're getting into free agency. We're getting into the draft. And so you're ready to move on, put a bow on 2012, and start looking forward to the future. And so this is the last time we'll reference 2012 with this segment. This is the segue into the offseason, into the new season, into 2013. And so we'll be doing that with this segment, putting 2012 to rest and starting to move into the 2013 offseason with this segment, 5 minutes or less. And let me quickly tell you what it will entail, and then we'll move into the segment. So essentially, here's the criteria for the show. There's the high point of the season in 2012 for your particular NFL team. So, of course, the high point being the highest point that they reached in the season, when they felt the best about their prospects for the outcome of their season. There's the low point that I will be talking about for your team in the 2012 season, which is when your team reached their moment of despair in the 2012 season. And then we'll be talking about free agent activity. And there's 4 categories that I broke it down into. You can either be a team that needs to be aggressive during free agency, a team that needs to test the waters during free agency. Aggressive means you have a lot of cap space, you have a lot of money to spend, you have a lot of needs, you need to go out and address them through free agency. Be aggressive, go out and get as many players as you can to help fill the voids that you have on your football team. Test the waters. You have money, you have a little bit of cap space to play with, but you have a lot of players already signed the contracts on your team, and so you need to go out, see what's out there, see if there's some guys that can help you. If so, reach out, grab a few of them, and come back, bring them on your roster, and move on. You don't need to be overly aggressive as some teams who have a lot of cap space, who have a lot of needs, who need to go out there and pull 4, 5, 6 guys out of free agency to help fill their roster. You might just need to pull out 1 or 2 guys, 3 guys, and you just need to go test the waters and see what's out there. Maybe there's some guys that can help you. There's minimal. Minimal means you don't need to do much of anything. There may be 1 or 2 guys that you need to take a look at in free agency, but you don't have a lot of money to spend anyway. So you just go out there, see what's available. If there's a bargain basement deal for you to have, you go out and you go seek it. And then there's stand pat. Pat is essentially doing nothing in free agency. You don't have any money, or you have money, but you don't need to go and spend it on free agents. Don't do anything. Just stand pat. And so that's going to be the free agency activity part of the segment. And lastly, the state of the fan base is essentially how the fan base of your favorite team probably feels going into the offseason and going into the upcoming 2013 season that's looming ahead. How they feel about some of the offseason moves that have been made already and things to come. How you feel about this team moving forward. And so the fan base of your favorite team either is going to feel like one of these few categories that I've set aside. Extreme optimism, cautious optimism, lukewarm, what are we doing, pessimism, or in the famous words of Vince Lombardi, what the hell is going on out there? So those are your categories. Now that you know the criteria for the show, I got 5 minutes on the clock. Let's get started with the Miami Dolphins and 5 minutes or less. The high point of the season for the Miami Dolphins. The high point is simply week 8. The first game off of a bye. You're on a 3-game winning streak. You go to New York to play the Jets. Absolutely obliterate them 30-9. You don't give up an offensive touchdown. The defense and special teams shine through. You lose Tannehill on the second possession of the game. Does not matter. Matt Moore comes in, manages the game. Special teams dominates. You absolutely look like a team that's ready to take the next step in the 2012 season. After starting the season 1-3, you're now 4-3 after 3 consecutive victories. And the next game on the docket is the Indianapolis Colts. 2 rookie quarterbacks squaring off. You feel like if you can get that game, get a 4th consecutive win, get to 5-3, now you're in business. That leads me to the low point of the season for the Miami Dolphins. The low point of the season was from that very game against the Colts in Week 9 all the way to Week 11. This was a stretch in which the Dolphins simply lost control of this season. The Dolphins were playing really good football. Ryan Tannehill had started slow in this season, and he gradually got better, and he got to the point where he wasn't turning the football over. During that 3-game winning streak, Tannehill did not turn the football over. He was managing the game. He was finding open receivers. Brian Hartline exploded onto the scene. This team was getting it done. And in that 3-week period from Week 9 to Week 11, everything fell apart with this Miami Dolphins team. They weren't able to get it done against the Colts, a game that I thought they should have been able to win. They had every opportunity to win that game and did not do so. Then you have the embarrassing loss against Tennessee at home, in which you are absolutely destroyed. Joe Philbin, I thought, had a coaching blunder, benching Reggie Bush after fumbling early in that game. You get beat up at home. Jake Locker's first game back after the injury. You're supposed to be able to take it to Jake Locker. You don't. You allow Tennessee to come in and take it to you. You lose that game in blowout fashion. Then you follow that up with a lackluster effort on Thursday Night Football against Buffalo and a loss that you should have been able to win. A game that you should have been able to win, you lose 3 in a row. Now, instead of you looking forward to the rest of your season and possibly at least being at 500 after being 4-3 going into that 3-game stretch, you drop 3 straight. You're now 4-6, and effectively your season is finished. That's the low point of the season for the Miami Dolphins. You look at free agency activity for the Miami Dolphins, and I think it's very simple. Test the waters. You have some guys that you need to bring back in the fold. The Dolphins are comfortably, and when I say comfortably, I mean they have one of the best cap situations in all the National Football League. They're almost $50 million under the cap. So they got money to burn. But you have guys that you might need to bring back in the fold yourself. Sean Smith, Jake Long. So there's guys, Reggie Bush, that might need to be back. So you have to see who you're going to bring back, what money you're going to allocate to those guys. But there are some positions of need on this team. And so you need to start looking for guys that can help you test the water. Stick your toe in there. See if there's anything that can help you out. If there is, pull them out. See if they can help your franchise. Bring them in and move forward. Don't be afraid to take care of guys in your own locker room, however, first and foremost. Now we finish up with the state of the fan base. And for me, with the Miami Dolphins, it's really simple. It's cautious optimism. Again, you've got Joe Philbin going into his 2nd season. And I like the direction that Joe Philbin has taken this team. He's trying to change the culture into one of winning. And I understand the disciplinary approach that he took in year 1, but he has to make sure that he presses the right buttons at the right time with this team. I think that if you can get some of your guys back, a la Sean Smith and Jake Long, Brian Hartline and Reggie Bush, if you can bring some of these guys back into the fold, I think you'll be fine. And look, Jake Long did not play his best football in 2012. I understand that there's a lot of tackles on the market, but I think you need to take care of your own. Bring Jake Long back. I think he's going to be okay. And so the state of the fan base is cautious optimism. And as you can hear that sound in the background, that's the Miami Dolphins in 5 minutes or less.
Miami Dolphins. 5 minutes or less.